What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back with another video, and today I want to talk about Fallout 76 Nuclear Winter. So yes, this is the Battle Royale mode that came to Fallout 76. I think this is something that no one really expected, but it happened, we have it, and now let's talk about it. So I want to say that my initial impressions of the Battle Royale was absolutely terrible. I thought it could not be any worse, which came as a huge disappointment to me because this is something that I saw at E3 and actually it seemed kind of interesting. It definitely piqued my interest, but once I got my hands on it, it was just so bad. But that kind of brings me to the first point that I want to talk about, and that it's a little bit buggy. The main reason that I thought the game was so bad is because it played terribly. I was getting like literally 15 FPS, which I definitely don't have a beast of a PC by any means, but I have a 7700K that's overclocked and a GTX 1080. I should be getting at least playable frames on a game like this. And then on top of that, it seemed like I was getting about a half-second input delay, so really the game was absolutely unplayable. Luckily, with a lot of experimentation, I was able to figure out what the issue was, and the issue was playing on full screen, surprisingly enough. I don't really know if this is an issue on my system. I don't know if this is an issue that a lot of other people have, but as soon as I went to borderless window, it worked fine. But for whatever reason, I can't play this game on full screen. Once we moved over to borderless windowed, I was able to actually play the game. Everything played a lot better. I was able to actually look at the game at face value and kind of figure some things out. But unfortunately, that wasn't the only bug or issue I had, because there was one more that was incredibly annoying. The game has a system set up where as soon as you pick up your first weapon, it will immediately equip it with full ammo and everything. The problem I was having is I would pick up a weapon and then nothing would happen, and I would continue to select the weapon and still nothing would happen, so I would run around with no weapon even though I have one, and it wouldn't actually let me use it or shoot at anybody or anything like that. Now again, I was able to fix this issue, and this was actually an incredibly simple fix because all I had to do was just aim down the sights. As soon as you aim down the sights, it'll bring out the weapon and then the issue will be resolved, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't work until then. Again, these are not game breaking by any means. I was able to find workarounds, but it's definitely annoying. But this game mode is in beta, meaning that there's gonna be some issues. That's why they're testing it. So honestly, overall, it's not all that buggy for a game that's not actually released yet. Another issue I had was that the game just overall feels so clunky and awkward. This is something that Fallout games have always suffered from, being the same engine, but since they're single player games, it's not really that big of an issue. You've never really had to have these, fast, intense, fights that you would have in the multiplayer games. You're really able to take everything at your own pace, so it never really bothered me that everything was so clunky. But now that it's a competitive multiplayer game, you really need to have at least somewhat of a smooth experience, and Fallout 76 definitely does not offer that. Now, after watching quite a few streamers play the game, trying to get their idea on it, what they were thinking, I noticed that a lot of the higher skill players were all playing in third person. And at first, I thought this was simply just to have a better, field of view, but I quickly found out that that's not the reason. Yes, it definitely does widen your field of view, but it also makes everything feel significantly less clunky. You feel like you're moving faster as a character, you feel like you can turn around, aim better. Everything just feels a lot better in third person, in my opinion, and a lot of these other streamers' opinions as well. But it's definitely not on the level of smoothness of like a Fortnite or anything like that, even if you are getting solid frames. I mean, there's no vaulting mechanics, the looting is kind of slow and awkward, nothing is really amazing in this game, and it's just kind of like clunky and outdated, it feels. So when you're talking about a battle royale, yes, all the weapons, the fighting, the mechanics and stuff, all of that is very important, but also what is incredibly important is the map that you're going to be playing on. In my opinion, there is far too much open space for this map. And I don't mean that there's too many open fields or anything like that, but I mean there's just so much space that's completely unused. There's not enough buildings, there's not enough loot spawns within these buildings. Everything just seems so scarce and spread out that it's not really worth going any place in particular. There only seems to be enough loot for about half the players until endgame. So I know that basically everything I've said up to this point has been kind of negative about the game, but you will have noticed that nothing is really game breaking. There's a couple bugs here or there's a couple things that I don't like. I do think there are quite a few things that are going to make it where this game will never be a competitor to something like Fortnite or Apex Legends, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad game. Listening to reviews and what other people had to say about it, I've noticed there's kind of two camps when it comes to reviewing this game. On one side of the fence, you have a group of people that think this game is absolutely terrible, won't even give it a shot because it's simply another battle royale and it's kind of a dead game. I mean, Fallout 76 is basically dead at this point, and they're trying to resurrect themselves by making a battle royale. Yeah, I understand that aspect, but I think that's kind of unfair, and it seems like most people would disagree. I'm not saying that everyone's gonna love this game, but I think overall it's a better game than a lot of people expected. Then you have the other camp that actually really like it. Once again, I don't think anybody thinks this is the best Battle Royale out there, but once again, it is free to play and it's a very different experience than anything we have on the market. Initially, they just launched it as a beta for 1 week when it was free to play, so today should be the last day you can play it. However, they extended it indefinitely, meaning that Fallout 76 Nuclear Winter is actually a free to play Battle Royale. So in the theme of reviews, you guys are probably watching this video to get someone's take on it to decide whether or not you want to play the game. You know, whether or not this content creator recommends that you try the game. Would I recommend that you spend any money on this game whatsoever? I would say no. I don't think this really changed a whole lot about Fallout 76 as a whole. This is not a game I would recommend. This is not a game that I'm spending money on. However, this mode is free to play and I do think it is fun. So with that being said, if you guys do have the free hard drive space, I would recommend that you grab this game, download it, and give it a try. And then let me know down in the comments whether or not you guys enjoy this game at all. If you've already checked it out, how do you feel about it? And if you haven't, let me know. But that does it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for the support. Peace out.
Didn't come to my birthday party. Rude, but they all found time to go fight the warrior. Like, this would be like some